Hey everyone, Melissa from Melissa vs. Fibromyalgia here. I have recorded and deleted a couple of videos already. I want to make videos that help you. And the thing is that the videos that resonate, the things that people thank me for hearing and saying is real life. I struggle with things, and whenever I share about what I'm struggling with, other people say, oh my gosh, thank goodness I'm not the only one. So I'm going to give you an update on where I'm at and what I'm thinking through and what I'm trying, and hope that helps you feel a little less alone and maybe give you some ideas. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you might know that I've got 4 small children under the age of 9. I have fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, and probable endometriosis, where our health system here is very backed up. So I am trying to see a private specialist, and I get to see them in May. In the meantime, I'm having atrocious, horrible, terrible periods. Last time it felt like I was giving birth, and I nearly went to the hospital, except that our ambulance system and hospital system is so overrun. So they called an ambulance for me, but called me an hour later to say it's going to be hours away, can you get yourself there? But I couldn't because I was in too much pain to move. So I said I'll just wait this out at home, because even if I had managed to get to the hospital, I would have just spent hours sitting around. And I knew that even if I ended up being seen for the endometriosis, the fibromyalgia and CFS would just flare up from sitting around for hours in an uncomfortable place. So I stayed home. So my nervous system obviously flares. So basically, this was 2 weeks ago, my last period, nervous system just on fire. And to top things off, my husband is away. He was supposed to be away for 3 weeks, and then it got extended by another week. The day he was supposed to get home, we all came down with a violent bug. We were all sick except for my 4-year-old. And so for a week, I had a violent bug, kids I was cleaning up after, and I couldn't do anything to relax. So my nighttime was being interrupted, my yoga nidra was being interrupted, there was no minute of break, and my nervous system was just fried. My physio put it this way. She said it's like my sympathetic nervous system is a dam waiting to break. And so doing yoga nidra with kind of one eye open, so to speak, because I'm listening out for the kids, or just doing a few minutes of deep breathing, it's like just dipping my toe in. But actually the problem is that I've got a giant tsunami coming at me, and so these little tiny like bits that come out is just not enough. And that's how I've come to think of the fibromyalgia. I've come to think of it as the nervous system, or rather the sympathetic nervous system. And I've done really well with learning how to reduce stresses as best I can, though one cannot get rid of 4 small children, each with their own needs, including a 4-year-old on autism spectrum, a husband who works very long hours, all of my different, health issues, part-time work, house, other people, family, right? There's just not much I can get rid of. But I am also very good at prioritizing switching on the parasympathetic nervous system as best I can. So I do my yoga nidra guided meditation, I do my gentle yoga, the breathing, all of that stuff. I'm really good at that stuff, but sometimes it's not enough, and the sympathetic nervous system is quite aggressive. And so the last time I went to the physio, we had to be very, very, very careful because it was about to be set off. So 2 times ago, I went and a muscle accidentally twitched. So she usually puts acupuncture needles into the trigger point to let it release, but it twitched and it set off my nervous system. I couldn't breathe, and I got like hot and sweaty, and I felt sick. And it took a bit to calm it right down. And my body it almost like remembered that last time. So we had to be very careful with how we approached the treatment. We had to kind of go peripherally. So she treated near the mad trigger point, but not the trigger point. So we kept the nervous system as calm as possible, which of course helps overall, but it didn't really help the trigger point. And again, that's the whole thing. Fibromyalgia, nervous system, perpetuating factors, the trigger point. So it's a really tricky balance trying to manage it. And so my physio said, try to do complete parasympathetic nervous system rest every 24 hours to kind of break that cycle with the sympathetic nervous system. Obviously, that's very difficult to do in a very busy life. And so you can see that there's all of these things going on. And in the meantime, I'm trying everything possible. I'm a very proactive person. I will try things and I'll tweak things and I will research and I'll give this a go and that a go. There's some things that I'm just stuck with, right? I've got to wait to see the specialist for the endometriosis. I've done everything I could possibly do myself. You better believe I've read the books, read the literature, done what I can myself to help. And it's the same with the fibro-CFS. We're in a very just kind of managing at the moment. We're not trying new things, we're just trying to keep an even keel. And it's going like well. So when I don't have my period, it's pretty okay, but the nervous system just will spike. Like the other day I was doing yoga nidra, my brain was fully engaged with it, my body was relaxed, there was nothing going on, but all of a sudden my sympathetic nervous system took over, my heart rate shot up, and I couldn't just let my body relax. So there are definitely times when the nervous system is just overwhelmed, and I can't turn it off. It's like a car, if you've ever driven an automatic car and for some reason it has trouble changing the gears, and so it's like over revving. That's like the sympathetic nervous system over revving, and those things that we do to switch on the parasympathetic nervous system is what helps shift the gear down so that it's not revving so high, and so it just gets stuck. And I think it's going to be a balance for the rest of my life, but particularly in this phase of my life, it's a busy one. Like, I think the bulk of my sessions with my counselor is me trying to get a handle on the fact that I am overachieving. This is a very busy phase of life. Even if I didn't have any health issues, having 4 small children is a big thing. It is a full-time job to manage 4 small children. It's huge. It's a lot. And so I have a lot going on and I do a lot. And the funny thing is, now that I'm a little bit better, I'm kind of connecting more with the world, and what I'm seeing is that all these other mothers, they don't do as much as I do. I do so much. I have more children with more things going on, and I've got the job and the blog and the this and the that, and my husband works long hours and he was gone for a whole month. And that's got nothing to do with other people. It's entirely about the fact that I am doing too much, and I know that. And I don't know how to fix that, and I don't know how to communicate that with my husband either, because the problem is that I will keep going to the detriment of my health. So I'm simultaneously learning how to manage my health, how to pace, how to just try and manage it. But then I'm trying to learn how to communicate that. And now we're facing down the barrel of having a big serious operation. So I'm probably going to end up with either a partial hysterectomy or at least an operation kind of laparoscopically to remove any endo, whatever they find. And that could take me some time to recover from. Like if you have a hysterectomy, it can take up to 6 months for any normal person to feel normal again. But if you've got other health issues and 4 small children, it could take longer. So I'm looking down the barrel of 3-4 more cycles, which will take me down, and also an operation, and also another maybe 6 months of extreme uncertainty. And that's a very hard thing to manage. And I am sharing this not to put down anyone in my life, not to say anything bad, because I know it is so difficult to understand someone else's experience, especially if that person doesn't know enough about their own experience to be really clear and consistent with what they're doing. I can't be clear and consistent because my body is not clear and consistent. It's to share the experience, because someone said to me recently, they've seen all my posts, and because I'm so proactive, they assumed that I had a lot of support in my family and in my home, and so it was nice for them to know that they weren't the only one trying to communicate and get along in that situation. And I think for a long time, for many years, I've been trying to get on here and say, okay, here's the research, here's my experience, here's 10 things that can work, try them out. But I think at this point, there might be more value in just sharing, here's where I'm at. Yeah, there are things that I'm trying that can be helpful, but you're not alone. And if you are doing these things, if you are parenting, if you are managing chronic illness, you've got a lot on. It is a big deal and it is hard, and I'm here with you. I might be a little bit ahead in my healing journey for some people, but I'm here with you, and it is not easy. And I know it's not easy. So I hear you. When you talk to me in my groups or send me a comment or email or whatever, I'm there. I get it. I really do. And so I hope that helps, knowing that it's not all perfect, that even though I can get in and make these blog posts and these videos and run these groups, and I do, I am so grateful for what I achieve, I get it. And I'm here too, in the trenches of chronic illness. So I hope that helps a little bit. One thing that I am doing that I've identified is that I've got 4 little helpers. And so one thing I'm going to work on is how I include them in the house and managing everything. A little example yesterday, my back was really hurting, and right as I got dinner on the table, my husband was not home. I had all 4 children, and I just sat down with my heat pack because my back was so sore, and the shopping came. And I was trying so hard. I got the refrigerated and frozen stuff up, and I got that away, and then I had to sit back down with my heat pack. And I was like, actually, big boy, nearly 9-year-old boy, could you please bring the shopping up for me? And I watched in amazement. Like it would have taken me 2 or 3 trips going down and up, bringing all of those bags. But he industriously, like, he put the things that were loose, like, the big packets of paper towels and toilet paper, he put them into bags that had been emptied when I put the frozen and chilled stuff away. And he brought it all up, like 4 or 5 bags in one trip. Like, he is capable. So if he's capable of doing that, how much more can they help? And there is research that shows that it gives kids a sense of belonging. And I feel it's really important for me to teach them things, that when they leave this house, they know how to look after themselves, that they can cook and they can clean and they understand basic hygiene and all of that stuff. And so now I'm going to move into, it will take more energy at first, of course, but move into trying to figure out how I get them to help me, because I think that's the logical next step. I need to figure out how to do less, but I can't leave things hanging, so I can utilize my helpers. And as a bonus, obviously, it brings us closer because we're doing things together and they're helping me and we can talk about things. So I guess there you go. I've got something to share that could be helpful, and I can report back on it too if that's interesting. But if you have children, especially that kind of elementary primary school age, let me know what you get them to do to help. If you've got any tips around it, let me know all of that stuff, and we can kind of share about it more, but I'll let you know how that goes. So also just let me know how you are, connect with me, and thank you for being here, and thank you for listening.